this interview that Meghan's done with Bloomberg, where she was discussing about her time in the royal family. A question was posed to her about whether how does she marry up, the tension between what she's doing now and being a Duchess of Sussex. But it was 5 years ago. Why is she still referring back to settling old scores in the royal family?
Well, exactly, Matt. It was completely self-inflicted when she brought that up. They didn't really lead her down the path of, and how did you feel in the royal family? Did they suppress you? It wasn't like an Oprah-esque interview. It was meant to be about business and pots of jam. But, of course, she can't stray very far away from her victim complex and all the trauma that happened to her during that time within the firm. I mean, it's pretty funny when that whole interview, she was trying to be relatable. You could see her trying to get the smash burgers with the journalist and trying to walk through a bookshop and, I'm an every woman, I'm living my California life. But the truth of the matter is that saying that wearing pantyhose and neutral colours was some form of suppression is not relatable at all. So she can't actually even fathom that would be sort of a horrible issue for her. I just think that she's absolutely incapable of being authentic, and that shined through in the Bloomberg interview.
Well, she also said that, talking about her past again, which we're believed that she had moved on from talking about time in the royal family, that she couldn't be so vocal. But when she was asked whether to defend what she said about Donald Trump in 2016, she didn't want to get involved. And she was talking about how she wanted to move on, and she was criticising the critics, and we'll get on some of the critics later, saying that the critics of her show just do it to pay the bills and probably go away and take part in her one skillet spaghetti. I just can't understand why she can't move on. But the worry that I have is that, her claim to fame is ultimately going to be that she walked out on the Royals. She doesn't seem to have moved on with her show.
Well, she still likes calling herself a Duchess of Sussex, doesn't she? She picked somebody up on that when they called her Meghan Markle. So she wants to have a cake and eat it, doesn't she? She wants to, claim that they've left the royal family, claim they're nothing to do with it anymore, and they're not ruled by their rules anymore. Yet at the same time, sort of tells someone else that she's still the Duchess of Sussex. So it's a question of trying to have it both ways, isn't it?
Totally. I mean, even when
for commercial reasons.
Yeah, I mean, she was questioned about being relatable. She goes, well, that's someone else's detriment if they don't find me relatable. I mean, that's a very harsh thing to say to people who have said, that $9 pot of jam is something that I can't afford. She was saying it was for teenage girls so that they could have a slice of her lifestyle, which, again, out of touch, Meghan. I mean, $9 for a pot of jam is not cheap. Newsflash. No,
they're calling her Marie Antoinette Meghan, aren't they?
Yeah, well...
Let them eat jam.
Precisely, but she's given that name to herself. She's walked right into it, and I think that Bloomberg interviewer did a good job of kind of almost revealing that, but in a very subtle way.
Yeah, I just thought it was a mistake to put it out on the same day. Just let people watch the show, and I just thought that interview.
She also didn't she post a picture of Lilibet kissing a dog? It was Dog's Day as well. They couldn't leave that out. Had to sort of jump on the bandwagon of Dog's Day.
Well, and Harry surfing a wave, which it was just random, but I think she was trying to get some publicity out of him.
Harry's not in the show, is he? So that's quite interesting. That there's nothing of Harry at all. Might be a photograph of him in the background or something, but he's not in it. So I think that's quite significant. And that plays into the sort of feeling that they're going their separate ways commercially. He's doing his charity work and she's doing that. But no, he's not in it apparently. So
no, he's not.
Well, let's get on to the show.
We don't see him coming in and even lick the plate or something.
Yeah,
test it out.
Netflix, yeah, they wouldn't have been happy.
Well, let's get on to the show because, Phil, you've seen clips. I've watched all 8 episodes. I said that I just found it inoffensive and, it just passed me by and relatively enjoyable, but moved on. Samara, the critics have been rather scathing again, like they were on Series 1. I'll just read some of the ones that we have so far. The Times says, save yourself, don't do it. The Guardian, so painfully contrived that it's genuinely fascinating. And Phil, you touched on this. The Telegraph says more tone deafness from the Montecito Marie Antoinette. Are these over the top, or do you share these views?
I mean, what's really interesting is that she's unified the entire media spectrum. I mean, from the so-called, left-wing to right-wing media, Everyone hates this. So you can't just say, oh, it's trolls trying to pay their bills, as Meghan does say. It's everyone that doesn't actually enjoy the show as a piece of television. I mean, it was... I know you might have enjoyed it, but I thought...
I didn't enjoy it. I just found it bearable.
Yeah, I know, and I know what you mean by saying that, but I think that for the amount of money that it took to produce, the amount of resources that went into it, over 80 crew members, it could have been a lot more spectacular, and it wasn't. So purely as a piece of television, I can see why the reviews have been so scathing.
All those critics that you're reading out are all British, though, aren't they? I'd be interested. We've got a lot of American viewers on this programme. I'd be interested to know what the American reviews are or how it goes down in the States. I mean, a lot of the celebrities, I've never heard of them, to be honest, but they're probably quite big names in America, her friends who've dropped in. So it'd be interesting to know how it goes down in the States. But certainly over here it's been panned, but that's probably not their main audience.
But why do we think the reviews are so bad? Is it because it is dreadful, as people have pointed out, or is there just a general hate watch on Meghan shows, and there is everyone's just in this channel where anything Meghan does is bad, or is it really that bad?
I think it's just the fact that nobody believes that she's, I mean, one of the guests says that apparently she is a very good cook, but I mean, we've got no evidence of that. She says she doesn't like baking, funnily enough, which Kate, actually, the Princess of Wales, apparently is a very, very good baker, a very good chef on that front. But I just don't think people believe that she's actually an expert, and so she's just jumping on the sort of celebrity chef bandwagon and doing it purely because of who she is. And, she hasn't really got much to tell us about anything sort of particularly new about cooking. It's just sort of, promoting a few products and cue this QI code at the end, and that'll lead you to this product. And I think on the last series, they sold out, didn't they, the products, but they didn't make very many of them. So whether Netflix have made much money out of that or not, we don't know. But I just think people just think it's not very authentic, is it?
No, I mean, people really wonder, I think, when they watch it. I mean, I was even surprised because I really did go into season 2 with an open mind, if you could believe it. But and then she basically mentions every single activity that she does, a lot of the recipes, that she's never done it before, and it's her first time doing it. And I'm just thinking, I mean, genuinely for almost everything that she did in that show, and I'm just thinking, then why should we listen to you? Why are you the authority on how to cook this pasta, on how to make this silk screen marbling thing that she was doing? Why? I mean, I might as well just go on TikTok or on YouTube and look for a tutorial. And that's why it's really almost like this display, this me. It's to show that I can do this and I can do that. It's not an instructional, which is typically what a cooking show is.
You're not going to learn very much from it, are you? I don't think,
Well, she's learning. She's learning for the first time.
She goes along,
Yeah.
Well, it did feel almost retro in many ways because it feels kind of old-fashioned, I think. It feels a little bit like 10, 15 years old. But I remember in that Bloomberg interview we were discussing earlier, the woman said, the interviewer, Emily Chang, I think, said to her, well, you can just get AI recipes on now. And Meghan had never heard of that idea before. It does feel a little bit dated. But is it a safe space for Meghan? She, apart from that interview she did afterwards where she started criticising her time on the Royals, isn't it just a safe space that we just want her to go away in and just be inoffensive?
Well, the proof of the pudding will be easy, wouldn't it? If the ratings are no good, they won't make... I don't know if they've made a third series. I doubt it, have they? I mean...
What do we think, a third series?
The point is, because this second series was made around about the same time, they're obviously going to get it out there anyway, get their sort of penny's worth. But whether they make a third series will all depend on the ratings. And what I gather from the last one, it sort of shot into the top 10 to start with and then dropped right back to 384 or something. So, so I don't think that's likely she's going to make another series. But, I mean, certainly, I much prefer she did stuff like this than slagged off the Royals. But unfortunately, she seems to want to do both.